When I think about 1933, the first thing that comes to mind is the smell of ash. Ash was everywhere, in the air, on our clothes, on the faces of people who'd already forgotten what they looked like, without exhaustion. Ash from burned hopes, ruined farms, from the little life we tried to build. I don't remember the moment our home stopped being a home and became just a shadow, but I do remember the moment we left it. It was sunrise, gray, like the sun was too shy to come out. Mom stood by the window, fingers shaking. Dad didn't say a word, and me? I just waited for someone to tell us it was a mistake, but no one did. Dad picked up his backpack, looked at us, and said quietly, "We can't live here anymore. We can't wait for death." Death. He said it like he was talking about the weather. We walked out of our home like ghosts. The road felt like a torn wound across the whole country. People were flowing down it, gray, hungry, lost. Every step sounded the same, cloth dragging, heavy breathing, the crunch of dust. We walked in silence. Nobody complained. Complaining was a luxury for people who still had strength. By the third day, we were out of food. By the fifth, out of hope. And on the sixth, Dad collapsed. He got back up. But for the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Mom grabbed his arm to steady him. He whispered, "I'm just tired." But I knew he was lying. His health was burning out slowly, like the last embers in an old stove. That evening, we found a camp, if you could even call it a camp. Scraps of cloth instead of tents, cardboard instead of walls. People, walking shadows. They barely looked at us. When you lost everything, you stopped caring about anyone else. But one man approached, tall, thin, face sharp, like it had been carved with a knife. His name was Roy. "Not much room," he said, "but you can stay the night for a price." "We don't have money," Dad answered. Roy tilted his head. "I don't need money. I need work." The moment he said it, something inside me tightened. His voice, his eyes, something about them was wrong. Dad asked, "What kind of work?" "Different kinds," Roy said. "But tonight, just stay. We'll figure it out tomorrow." Mom placed her hand on Dad's shoulder. He agreed. That night, I heard voices, rough, tense. "He's weak," one said. "Yeah, but the boy looks strong." I froze. They were talking about us. My heart started pounding so loud, I thought it would wake the whole camp. I ran to my parents, shook them awake. "We have to leave," I whispered. Dad tried to sit up, coughing so hard it tore through him. "Where? At night? We won't make it." Then a shadow blocked the entrance. "Roy, leave if you want," he said quietly. "But the road's worse than this place right now." "What do you want from us?" Mom asked. Roy stared for a long time. His face showed nothing, but his eyes, there was something deep and dark inside them. "I need someone who can do heavy work." "I'll do it," Dad said. Roy shook his head. "You're already half dead, and you know it." Dad tried to stand, but his legs gave out. Roy looked straight at me. "The boy will do." Everything inside me clenched. I was terrified, not just scared, paralyzed. But when I saw Mom trembling and Dad barely holding on, I realized if I didn't agree, we would all die there. "What do you want me to do?" I asked quietly. Roy smiled, a cold, steel smile. "You'll see tomorrow." At dawn, he led me to the edge of the camp. There was a truck old, rusty, but running. Simple job, Roy said. We're going to collect what's left after others. What others? He didn't answer, just motioned. Get in. We drove for hours. Empty fields, destroyed houses, almost no people. Finally, he stopped at a burned-out farm. Here, he said. He handed me a shovel. Dig. What? Dig. The earth was soft, too soft. And that's when I understood. We were digging graves, not for me, for the people Roy found on the road, starved, frozen, hopeless. He collected bodies. Why? I didn't ask. I couldn't. When I finished, my hands were shaking. Roy only said, "You'll get used to it." But I knew I never would. When we got back, Dad was lying on the ground. He couldn't stand anymore. Mom was crying, and Roy just watched. "There's a place I know," he said. "They'll give you food, but the trip's hard, very hard." "We'll go," Mom said immediately. Dad looked at me. "You sure?" I nodded. I had to be sure for all of us. We left at night. Roy walked ahead. We followed. But the farther we went, the more danger I felt in my bones. Something was wrong. After a few hours, Dad collapsed, wheezing, fighting for air. "Leave him," Roy said. "He's slowing us down." Mom screamed. "We're not leaving him." Roy stepped closer. "Then you all die." There was nothing in his eyes, nothing human. He never wanted to save us. He was using us. Then something happened he didn't expect. Dad lifted his head and whispered, "Take my son and go." The world fell out from under me. "No!" I shouted. "Dad, I'm not leaving you." But he grabbed my hand, squeezed it harder than he ever had. "You have to live." And in that moment, I understood. If I stayed, he'd die for nothing. Mom covered her face, but nodded. "I'll catch up," Dad whispered. "I promise." He didn't. We left him on that road, the hardest betrayal done to save ourselves. An hour later, Mom collapsed, too weak to move. Roy turned to me. "You're the man now. You lead." And that's when I knew. He never planned to save us. He just needed someone strong to carry the weight while he took whatever he wanted. I turned to him. "We're not going any farther." Roy smirked. "You think you have a choice?" Something inside me snapped. All the grief, the fear, the anger, everything came pouring out. I grabbed a rock. He stepped toward me. I swung. He fell. I swung again. Mom screamed. I cried, but my hands wouldn't stop. He wanted to take everything from us, like the Depression took farms, like the dust took homes. But I didn't let him. We left the road, walked toward the valley. Days blurred into nights. We found a farm, empty, but standing, and for the first time in months, warmth. We stayed, worked, ate, survived. When I think about that night, I still see Dad. He said, "You have to live." I'm living for him, for Mom, for myself. People say the Great Depression is about money. It's not. It's about how much a person can lose and still stay human. I lost everything, but I found one thing: the strength to keep walking, even when the road leads into darkness. And if you're hearing this, remember, we don't choose the road, but we do choose whether to keep going